Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. So, we're diving into something that is literally a masterclass in storytelling today. We are taking a super dense 67-word prompt. I mean, it's basically just a single paragraph, and we're going to completely deconstruct it. Why? Well, because this tiny little piece of text, it actually acts as a highly detailed blueprint for crafting a completely cinematic wildlife narrative. We're going to break down exactly how just a few sentences can construct this massive, compelling story of survival. And we'll be focusing heavily on one of nature's absolutely most brutal challenges, surviving the African drought. So, if you've ever wondered how to build a rock-solid narrative from scratch using just a handful of perfectly chosen words, you are definitely in the right place. Let's get into it. Just let this raw drama wash over you for a second. Write a cinematic wildlife story about a brave lion surviving in the harsh African savanna. Wow. Right out of the gate, the source material just throws us onto our stage, and man, it is entirely unforgiving. We aren't just making a run-of-the-mill nature documentary here. That word, cinematic, it demands scale, it demands emotion and massive visual power. And our protagonist? Not just any animal, it's a brave lion. The text instantly sets up the stakes for us. It's all about survival in a setting that's literally defined as harsh. As the writer, you're immediately tasked with making the audience feel the heat, the dust, and just the immense pressure of the savanna. Okay, let's dive into Section 1, a cinematic wildlife blueprint, breaking down the 67 words. We're going to treat this single paragraph exactly like a blockbuster film blueprint. Look at the incredible high-wire act the source material demands with these 3 requirements: realistic animal behavior, beautiful nature descriptions, and suspense. The author is being told to balance completely grounded, scientifically accurate realism with just breathtaking aesthetics, all while keeping us on the very edge of our seats with suspense. You know, you can't just make the lion a superhero here. It has to behave realistically. But at the same time, the world around it has to be beautiful, and the situations it finds itself in must be intensely suspenseful. It's just a brilliant, incredibly challenging triad of storytelling instructions. Moving right along to Section 2, enemies and daily survival. The physical conflict. This right here is where those intense, cinematic action sequences are born. The text dictates this relentless, fast-paced barrage of external conflicts for our lion. It specifically requires us to show the lion hunting for food, actively protecting its pride, facing down dangerous enemies like hyenas, and actually battling rival lions. I mean, think about the pacing this demands. It's kind of like an action movie trailer playing out in just a few words. The narrative just doesn't get to rest. The lion is constantly thrust into physical, instinctual action, fighting these visible, tangible enemies that threaten its life and its family every single day. But then the prompt demands a massive shift in stakes. Let's look at Section 3, Surviving the African Drought, the Environmental Climax. The pacing slows way down here, becoming less about pure adrenaline and way more about grueling endurance. And this brilliantly illustrates the contrast the source material is setting up for us. On one side, you have the physical enemies, right? The hyenas, the rival lions. These are threats our lion can see. He can fight them and potentially defeat them with sheer physical prowess. But on the other side, you have the environmental enemy, the African drought. You literally cannot roar at a drought. You can't swipe at the scorching sun. The prompt forces the narrative to totally transition from a story of combat to a story of just raw willpower and resilience against an invisible, all-encompassing force. Let's look at how this builds into the brutal sequence dictated by the text. To write this successfully, the prompt gives us a 3-step roadmap. First, endure the drought. And realistically, how do lions actually survive these bone-dry periods? Well, they survive by becoming largely nocturnal to conserve energy, and get this, they extract essential moisture directly from the blood of their prey. It's harsh, but it's survival. Second, find water. The narrative really has to center on this desperate, exhausting search through a completely dried-out savanna. And third, overcome injuries. The text tells us our lion isn't just casually strolling up to a watering hole. No, it's battered, maybe from those earlier fights with hyenas or rivals, and it has to overcome these physical traumas while being severely dehydrated. This sequence is absolutely the emotional core of the whole survival arc. Having pushed our brave lion to the absolute brink, the blueprint brings us to the resolution. Section 4, Crafting a Powerful Ending, the Educational Resolution. This is where we figure out how to land this cinematic journey. The text explicitly calls for a powerful ending. I really want to emphasize this phrase because it is absolutely vital. All that suspense, All those beautiful nature descriptions, the hunting, the desperate search for water during the drought, none of it can just fade to black. It's got to culminate in something deeply meaningful, impactful, and resonant for the audience. The prompt definitely does not leave the nature of this ending up to chance. It gives us exactly what that ending needs to look like. The source material specifies that the conclusion has to highlight 3 exact traits of our lion: its strength, its intelligence, and its survival instincts. So it's not just about winning a dramatic fight, it's about showcasing the sheer multifaceted capability of the animal. You've got the strength to fight off those rivals, the intelligence to track down water during a brutal drought, and those deep-seated survival instincts to overcome severe injuries and protect the pride. The ending really has to serve as a testament to these specific qualities.
Which brings us to the ultimate constraint, the one that makes this 67-word prompt a true masterpiece of storytelling design. After demanding violent battles with hyenas, the grueling reality of injuries, and the potentially fatal threat of a massive African drought, the text adds one final, huge rule: make the story engaging, educational, and suitable for all ages. Wow, talk about a massive tonal challenge. You have to portray the harsh, uncompromising reality of nature in a way that is accessible, inspiring, and completely informative for literally everyone.
So the crucial point is, we're left with this incredible, provocative challenge. How do you, as a storyteller, balance those deeply emotional moments and the raw suspense of a starving, injured lion surviving a drought, while simultaneously ensuring the final product remains educational and entirely suitable for all ages? It's just a delicate, truly fascinating puzzle hidden inside a single paragraph. Next time you read a simple prompt or a short summary, maybe look a little closer. You might just find the blueprint for an epic masterpiece waiting to be built. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep looking for the story behind the words.